I was going to be installing a little grease fitting on my slip yoke today to get rid of the infamous clanking noise when you're putting it into gear or start accelerating. Pretty simple job. I've already done it, but I'll just go over it real quick. These are pretty much all you need. This will be our grease fitting here. Comes in a package like this. Comes with some. This is an assorted one. Comes with some 45s and 90, but I'm just going to use the straight one here. Also, you need a drill bit. These are about a 1/4 inch fitting, so I have a 1/4 inch drill bit. I also have a 1564, I believe. Yeah, 1564, which is one less than that. That'll give me a little tighter fit. You'll also need a 1/4 inch tap, so we can put some threads in there after we drill it. A wrench to get our drive shaft off, 14 millimeter, and then also a Sharpie. I'll show you how that Sharpie and a tape measure, so we can mark some stuff before we pull the drive shaft off. And then at the end, once that's all in, I have a simple grease gun. You could have different versions, but that way I can inject some grease in there into that slip yoke, and it'll tighten up and not make that clanking noise. So I'm going to show that. I'm going to get under there and show you all that real quick, and I'll show you a video of the before and after of the clank. And I mean, this isn't a true fix, but it is a workaround depending on how bad it is. This should help you significantly reduce the clanking noise. So here we go. Okay, up underneath the truck here's our drive shaft. That would be the forward end of the truck. This is the rear, where it goes into the rear differential. So this is where there's actually four bolts, 1, 2, and then 2 on the top side. They could be rotated depending on how your drive shaft's lined up, but just move your truck forward or backward if you want to be able to access these a little better. But that's where the Sharpie comes in. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, you can. So for the Sharpie, go ahead and on one of these sides of your U-joint here, I make a mark with the Sharpie. I even do it down on the drive shaft. That way you'll know this is the orientation that it goes back in. That way we won't mess with the balancing or anything like that. So go ahead and make a mark across your U-joint and on the actual spindle here. This stays behind. And then you're really just going to take your wrench or your socket, whatever you want to use, remove these 4 bolts here, and this little brace will come off. Just take notice, you only have so much space here, so you might not be able to get a socket, so a wrench seems to use a little better. Then once that's done, you can actually take a hammer or a wrench or something. You'll put this in here, and you can apply a little pressure, and that'll slide the whole assembly forward a little bit, and you'll be able to drop it down. I've already done it, so I'm not going to redo it, but put the wrench in there or a hammer. You can even hammer it here with a little mallet or something. And this will come forward a little bit. The slip yoke will slide into the transmission casing a little bit, and this whole assembly will drop down. And for me, this is an aluminum drive shaft, so it's real light, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. But before you do that, I'm going to go show you one more measurement we need to take on the front side. Hey guys, here's the end product we're trying to achieve. You can see I have my grease fitting right here on my slip yoke. So this is where we're going to want to drill and tap and place our grease fitting. Before you do that, before we pull this drive shaft off, you could again use your Sharpie to make a mark here, or if you want to be a little more precise, you could take your tape measure and take a measurement of that gap, because basically you're going to want to center your grease fitting. Looks to be about a quarter, about 1.5 inches of gap that I have there. So 3/4 of an inch is where I would drill my hole to be centered. So just take note of that, and this is the end goal that we're looking for. And that way, once we start getting some clanking on our slip yoke, which goes into this transmission output here, transfer case, for me a 4-wheel drive. That way we can inject some grease here, and it'll fill those splines in there and reduce some of that play and clinking. So just go ahead and take that measurement before you pull this drive shaft out. Okay. I didn't film the actual procedure of installing one of these grease fittings, but it's pretty simple, guys. Common sense. Drill you a hole through there. Start smaller if you don't want to, go too big. It's always easier to keep going than to, once you've gone too big a hole, you're kind of screwed. So start a little bit smaller than your actual diameter of your grease fitting, and that'll be good also because you're going to be tapping it and taking a little more off. So a little bit tighter the better. Once you have that drilled and tapped, before you actually screw this in there, inside the spindle, make sure you clean all the shavings out. And then I also put some, Loctite, or you could do RTV as well, on the threads of this guy. So that way, once he's, screwed into the slip yoke, he won't ever have any desire to back out of there at any time. It's pretty straightforward, guys. I'm not going to film actually doing it since I already put my drive shaft back in there, but let's take a look what it looks like once it's installed. Alright, now that we got our fitting on there, we got some grease injected up into the slip yoke, I would go ahead and take like do a spin around the block. That'll help work some of that grease into all the splines of the spindle. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll do a quick test, putting it into gear and moving forward and backwards a little bit to see if we do notice a reduction in that clanking sound from the cab. I still have a little bit of pressure built up in there. It's still trying to come out a little bit, but that'll work itself out as we make a lap around the block. Okay, and well, that's basically it. That's how we put a grease fitting in there. And I've had this one in here actually for quite a while before I made this video. I was just actually doing a re-greasing today and decided, well, I'll step back and make the video on how I put that in there. But I've seen pretty good success with it. Again, it will depend on how bad your clanking actually is. It definitely won't remove the problem forever. If you want it to be gone forever, you could spend a couple $100 for the nickel-plated slip yoke. For me, my truck's so old and I really don't care about the clank too much, so I just keep greasing it every couple of months, and it reduces it enough that I don't hear it from the cab, so it's not a problem for me. So go ahead and give her a try, guys, and see how she works out for you.